The budget cuts are pretty scary for anyone who cares about education. And the truth of the matter is that not everybody's equally affected. And so the faculty who are getting laid off are the ones that have the least protection. So they're the part-timers, they're people who have less seniority or who don't have maybe tenure yet. And then when we think about the impact on programs, usually the first programs to go are the programs that help the students who need the help the most to actually be in college. So we're looking at programs like EOPS, which have been cut significantly. These are programs that support working class primarily, low-income students, and many of those are students of color. And so the impacts aren't felt in a uniform way across the board. And what really concerns me is the kind of thinking, both at the state and local levels, that go into making the decisions of what to cut. And I would hope that people would be very critical about what they're okay to let go of. It's absolutely necessary for students to mobilize. If students don't fight for their educational right, which is, derecho humano, it's a human right, if they don't fight for that, then who's going to fight for that for them? Education and achieving higher education is just getting increasingly harder. Used to be there was no tuition, right? It used to be in the UCs you didn't have to pay tuition. There were fees perhaps, but no tuition. And now people are talking about fee increases, tuition increases, and it's not as though this money is paying for better education, right? It's paying for at the very best the same level of education, the same amount of classes, the same resources, but what is looking at like it is it's more likely less. I'm really, really happy and really excited that this issue has mobilized students to come across, racial and class lines and sort of be in solidarity with one another as students. That's perhaps a positive that we can see has come out of this. I think it's really hard to be a student right now. And I think it's really important for people to act and not just say, oh, it's such a bad thing that we can't get our classes, and oh well maybe I'll just try next time. They have to do that and they have to act. Different classes have different limits. My limit is 50 students, which is already, mind you, a lot of students. I think that students feel the impact when teachers have a lot of students in the class. We obviously can't give as much individual feedback on written work, for example, which is absolutely critical because, writing is something that a lot of students have a lot of problems with. There were a lot of students the first day of class this quarter and last quarter. I think there was like a historic amount of students who were turned away both quarters each time. In the fall we saw, what was it, almost like 6,000 students not be able to find not even one class. So that's a crisis. It's painful when I have to turn students away, but I have to weigh what I can realistically do. I have to weigh sort of the quality of education, and I don't think that, anybody who says that you can let everybody in and it's not going to affect education, which is what our state lawmakers would love us to do. They would love us to just let however many students in, so they could cut more classes and they can get rid of more people. The truth of the matter is that the quality of education suffers.